All right, Beyond the Gates fans, episode 62. No, I did not rush to get this review out. Honestly, this 4 episode week was kind of dull, but it's fair. It's soap operas. Not every episode will be a banger, but based on the promo for the week of June 2nd, it looks like things will be heating up very soon. This one is a 6 out of 10. That's part of the reason why I didn't rush to get out a review. The episode really didn't do it for me. Not to mention, people weren't making a lot of traction about it online. I really hate what they're doing with Danny. I liked when she opted to go her own way, not focus on Bill and Haley, not try to force her way into Chelsea and Kat's company, do her own thing. Her and Pam with the modeling agency. I liked it. Not to mention, reducing her drinking, but here we are back with Danny being Danny. Now, if I'm to sum up the Danny stuff in this episode, it does not matter if Haley is lying about being pregnant due to the fact that Bill is your ex-husband and Bill is currently Haley's husband. So what difference does it make if Haley is trying to play Bill and I don't know, she's carrying the baby of another man, she's lying about being pregnant. Like, honestly, I don't really understand if she is lying about being pregnant. How exactly is this going to be some sort of like scheme? Unless, she plans on divorcing Bill. Did they even have a prenup? Is she low key, scheming because she knows that deep down at some point Bill and Danny might reconcile and get back together? And if there is some sort of prenup in play, instead of just being the discarded trophy wife or trophy ex-wife with not a dime to her name, this quote-unquote trust fund will be somewhat of like a secret piggy bank of hers. I don't really get the game here. But yeah, Danny is just at her worst in this episode. Drunk, ridiculous, and pathetic. She looks good, but she's just looking rather pathetic, barging into the home. And somebody pointed this out in the comments section of my episode 61 review. Jeremy, I think Chelsea only told Danny about the pregnancy because she knew it would, cause her mom to raise hell. Because she told her dad and Haley she's not done, making life hell for them. And what better way than to sick her mom on them? And if that's the case, then Chelsea might be a bit smarter than we give her credit for. But yeah, she basically goes into Haley not believing that she's pregnant. And Haley just says like, hey, keep, pushing me and denying my unborn child. And he's like, oh, so you're threatening me? And then Bill comes out like, no, but I am. And essentially, Bill tries to take the reins, but Haley's like, no. I need to fight my own battles. And Bill's like, fine. So then it gets to the point where Haley just says, well, Danny, you're right. I'm not pregnant. And I love how Bill just looked at her like, wait, what? So essentially, Haley was trying to play chess or something with Danny to the point to make it seem like she's more deranged than she is in terms of, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm not pregnant. I just came up with this scheme to get back at, you and make you jealous and da 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 da. So then Danny ends up leaving, but before she does, like, I'm about to leave. And I know the moment I close that door behind me, you're going to fall into Bill's arms and begin crying, trying to garner sympathy about a baby that doesn't exist because you really know the truth. And oh, I bet you'll say you're pregnant, but then you'll have a miscarriage to garner sympathy within the community. But I'm onto your game. Yeah, I'm onto your game. So that's essentially what's going on here. And then from there, Bill talks about not having sex during the pregnancy, but then Haley's like, oh, well, I read a book and women tend to be more frisky when they're pregnant, so let's go. And then they go to the room and do it. Now from there, Danny goes to Uptown and yet again, and they had final call, like, hey, last call for alcohol, Morris Day. You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the heck out of here. But then she's like, no, I'm Danny Dupree. So, oh, okay, well, in that case, I'll make you a drink myself. So Danny just starts drinking, and then she starts thinking about everything Haley was saying, and you could tell that this woman is falling back into old habits, and it's really sad because I'm like, come on, are we really seeing the dissension of Danny yet again when she was, let's be honest here, doing much better for herself because she was focusing on herself and her business. Like, there's nothing to be gained from focusing on the Haley and Bill stuff. That's their life. That's their business. Why are you barging in on them like that? From there, we go over to Joey giving Doug a call and asking, and then, Doug just is straight up with him like, what's real? Are you trying to hook up with my wife? It's like, no, not at all, not at all. It's like, well, can you give me a chance to like win the money back? Fine, come out to the casino tonight. And she's at Uptown and Vanessa walks in, and essentially, after a little flirtatious banter, they go back to the casino. And Vanessa gets on the tables and plays, and she doesn't know what she's doing, but she wins a little bit of money, and she's like, wait, are you letting me win for the sake of, I don't know, trying to get me excited? And then Joey sees where this is going and is like, you know what, hey, fellas, sorry, this room is closed. And he tells the card dealer to take him to a private room within the casino to enjoy other machines and whatnot, and give him complimentary drinks and food and whatnot. So one thing I actually like that they confirmed in this episode, that the casino is more than this one room. Because I always thought, like, for a high-end casino or whatever the case may be for high rollers, it's rather small, where it's just like this poker table and a mini bartender area. But no, this is just like the card room, if you will. So outside of the door, that's where you probably see like slot machines and all this other stuff. I know Leslie mentioned the slot machines when she had that 50K from Ted and was showing off the dresses and wigs to Leslie and Jan, but oh no, this is legit. There's more to offer. So Doug, before, it's just the two of them, Doug actually shows up to the casino and then notices Vanessa and Joey, so he walks out. And it's funny because the dealer said, oh yeah, we have one more person supposed to come, but they canceled due to an emergency. So part of me feels like, and somebody actually messaged me this, and this is a very good theory. It's possible that Joey was probably going to fix the game to have Doug think he was winning a bit of money, but then Vanessa would show up. Or even worse, Doug would show up, lose even more money digging the hole deep for himself, and then Vanessa would catch him in the act. And then Joey would be like, whoa, what's this, Doug? So yeah, Doug pretty much dipped, and then next thing you know, Vanessa and Joey got it on the table, and I'm thinking, this is the same woman last week chewing out Ted. Okay, yeah. But they got chemistry, so I can't lie. I can't lie. Which leads to Doug being upset, and he goes to Uptown, and Danny, offers him a seat, and they both, sit and drink with their issues. So, wow. Danny's ex is now allegedly having a baby with his child bride, and Doug, he's low on money. His wife is banging a gangster, and even though his hand is healed, his heart is effed up. So we're about to round things out here. Kat texts Ted saying that she will come by the room later to meet up with him, heart emojis and stuff. So it seems like, father and daughter are getting along well. It's good to see that on the one hand, Ted is making up for lost time with Eva, and, he's making amends with Kat. So I love how things are working in his favor. But then Dana shows up, new wig and everything, and essentially, I'm with Kat, what she says to Ted later on. Like, why even entertain the idea of Leslie, given the fact that she is here under the guise about Eva, asking if you and I will ever get back together again. Which Ted, honestly, and this isn't, against Keith, but I feel like with the change of actors, there's also a change of demeanor, because I don't believe OG Ted would even entertain the idea of being in a hotel room for an extended amount of time with Leslie at all. Because, yeah, while Ted tries to just say, like, just get out of here, like, there's nothing for us to talk about, and Leslie tries to continue to use Eva as the scapegoat about co-parenting and whatnot, and Ted's like, hell no. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, especially what happens in episode 63. You already kicked her out and whatnot, and and Eva is an adult. This is Ted making up for lost time. This has nothing to do with us trying to co-parent. This isn't a teenager. This isn't a kid. This is a woman in her early to mid 20s. I think it's the age range of like Eva and Kat. I could be wrong there, but they do have a moment of like, maybe we can forgive each other. And then she brings up like what, and Ted's like, wait, why would he even think about this? And that's when Dana brings up the whole thing about her Alan, Aaron, basically her deceased husband, who was there as like a placeholder to fill a void. And Ted essentially says peace out, but she pretends coughing like she needs a drink. And I'm thinking like, Ted, just, he lost me the moment he sat on the couch with her. It's like, either stand up or sit on the chair in the far side of the room. There is no reason for you to be sitting in any close proximity with this snake and not expect to get bit. Because when she's finally about to leave, because Ted is about to make her just get up out of there, that's when she tries to caress his face, and then he grabs her wrist like, no, don't touch me. That's when Kat comes in, sees what's going on, and then Leslie tries to push up on him like, oh yeah, teddy bear, and it's like, wait, no, stop. And then that's when she eventually gets thrown out of the room. And Ted is like, look, honey, that is not what it looks like. And then Kat thankfully knows that, look, I'm smart enough to know this Leslie woman is pushing up on you like that, and I'm not dumb enough to fall for it. But the fact that you would even entertain being in the same space as her, so essentially she drops off the dinner for Ted and just bounces. So over at the diner, Kat confronts Jacob about the investigation, and I love how Jacob is essentially like, look, the picture of the nurse you got there, and I'm glad that she got the picture, because it turns out, due to Andre doing the documentary at the hospital, he asked security to get footage for him. Essentially, just filler shots, essentially between scenes of the documentary where we see nurses, doctors, and patients out in the hallway, going into doors, things like that. There was the This girl is something else, and trust me, in episode 3, this just gets enhanced. But Kat goes into full detective mode, so she figures like, hey, this photo was showing this nurse going into the Laura's room the night that she went into cardiac arrest. Now we can't see the face, but we can only see like the back of the head and whatnot. And from there, Mona's showed up because Kat called her over. And here's the thing, Jacob's whole Kat, hey, don't coerce her, don't influence her decision. Essentially, Mona's there to look at the photo and see if she recognizes anything familiar about it. However, her judgment is skewed because Kat immediately said, that's Leslie, isn't it? Kat, come on now. You were doing so well, because if Mona had said, I think that might have been her, or at least that looks like one of the wigs she would have worn, that could have possibly done help. That probably would have helped. But Kat effed up a potential witness here, or at least somebody to help ID, the criminal. So you just freaked up. So then from there, that's when Kat leaves to meet with Ted and whatnot. But Mona actually has a brief chat with Jacob about not being able to trust anything Leslie says, due to the fact that there's a good chance she's lying to you if she tells you anything. And I love how Mona has the integrity of saying, she's not my favorite person right now. She's not friends with me or Jan, because it's one thing to lie, but to constantly lie for months, nah, we ain't cool. But I wish I could say it's her for certain, but I can't say for sure. So this is a woman of good character and integrity. So you got to admire that. And then finally, Leslie comes home after the whole thing at the hotel room. And like the evil queen of Snow White, she is just gleefully happy for causing more chaos. That's essentially what she's an agent of, chaos. So with that being said, that is the episode review for episode 62. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.